Welcome to Stribling's New York. I'm your host, Rob Taub, on WORAM Radio, 710 on your digital dial. We're an iHeart media company. Stribling's New York is a show about business, culture, people, places, and things. And we have a wide range of guests from authors, producers, actors, artists, restaurateurs, as well as people from the world of real estate who can help you with every aspect of buying, selling, renting a home or apartment, just learning about the fascinating world of New York real estate, which is changing and evolving rapidly. And there are other things about New York that we take for granted with people who do all kinds of good deeds for us, and those deeds don't get enough publicity and attention. And today I have with us the chairman of the Manhattan or New York City Chamber of Commerce, Ken Biberaj. Welcome, Ken. He's on the phone.
Well, thank you, Rob. Great to be here. And it is the Manhattan Chamber of Commerce.
Manhattan. Okay, good. And we've already had the sorry, I apologize for this since you're my friend. The head of the Brooklyn Chamber of Commerce has already been on, but we're saving Manhattan for the most important spot. You're leading off the show.
I love it.
What exactly? Tell me more about the Chamber of Commerce and what you do and how you got involved.
Sure. Well, it's one of those things where if you came from any small town around the country, the Chamber of Commerce is probably one of the more influential and powerful organizations that exist. And even here in Manhattan, even though we are a large metropolis of the largest corporations in the world, the financial epicenter, we also have a Chamber of Commerce that explicitly and proudly advocates for the small and mid-sized businesses that make Manhattan unique. Because at the end of the day, if you think about Manhattan as an island, it's obviously easy to think about the Times Square area and, the J.P. Morgans and the Goldman Sachses and the American Express, but you're in real estate. Manhattan is an island of neighborhoods, and each one of those neighborhoods is defined by the character of the streetscape and the small businesses that make it unique. And, all of these businesses are the ones that we're trying to remind the entire city about and really advocate for them, because today running a small business in Manhattan is not easy. And they need some strong advocacy and leadership, and that's what we're trying to do at the Chamber. So it's a multi-pronged approach where we try to connect some of these smaller on-the-ground businesses with larger businesses, introduce them, raise their profile, work to reduce red tape, lower expenses, and really try to be their voice in a city that, has a lot of other things going on.
Where do we find the Chamber of Commerce? Do you have an office?
Yep, we have an office right on 6th Avenue in the Hippodrome building. Our website is manhattancc.org, and we are actually always out on the road. We do events at, furniture stores, shoe stores, at the banks, financial institutions. We are always out and about with a very clear mission to advocate for, educate, and connect our members. So if you go on our website, manhattancc.org, and you sign up, there's going to be a whole plethora of different programs and events that you can attend and learn more about what, colleagues in different industries are doing, or find ways to promote your business to new sectors.
And does somebody, as a business, does one join? How do you get involved?
Correct. So the Chamber is a membership-based organization, and what we try to do is really lower the barrier to entry and get as many people involved as possible. So we have rates for solo practitioners, for small corporations, and then obviously we are fortunate to have some of these large corporations which really help us survive day to day and are our larger corporate sponsors. So, companies like Google, American Express, Wells Fargo, they're on our board. They really help kind of fuel the Chamber and give us the resources we need to put all of our attention to organizing and advocating and educating the smaller and mid-sized folks. So there's really a whole suite of services. So no matter how big your business is, there's a way to join the Chamber and get involved.
And what about for small businesses or like even an individual? Say, for example, you're a guy named Rob and you're middle-aged and lonely, and have really nothing to do with your life, and you'd like to volunteer. How would that kind of person get involved?
Oh, Rob, you're a perfect demographic, right? So we will tap you for your expertise and your knowledge and your know-how in communication and real estate, you'll join the chamber and you'll meet people who are, providing mortgages or looking for space or looking for apartments, raise your own company's profile. So, for solo practitioners, I think we start at like $250 a year, and you get access to a variety of events and programs we're doing. So, if you live downtown, we may have a new boutique that just opened up, and we'll do a party or an event at their location, and that'll give you the opportunity to see what's going on in your own neighborhood and meet people you may not have had the chance to meet because they may be in a different sector.
Well, this is great, and mercenary fellow that I am, I can make up that $250 like in hors d'oeuvres and drinks very quickly too.
Within a month.
Oh, this sounds really fantastic. Once the show wraps today, when we wrap taping, I'm going to join.
You've got to. And look, on a bigger scale, right, it's not just about growing your own business and some of these tangible value-add services we'll provide, but it also gives us as a chamber a stronger platform by having more members, more diverse members talking about how important it is, right? So you mentioned, you had the Brooklyn Chamber, which is fantastic. There's a lot of focus on the outer boroughs with the new administration these days, a lot of attention in Brooklyn and what's happening elsewhere. But there's not enough of focus on what's happening in Manhattan. And with rising rents and incentives around the other boroughs, lots of businesses are leaving or closing down and getting replaced by national chains. So from a macro level about our own competitiveness as a city, if we're losing the character of these neighborhoods and these communities, then it's going to have larger ramifications about why people, want to travel to New York. And when we have 60 million visitors a year, I think it's very important to make sure we remain a dynamic and vibrant borough, because Manhattan is the heart that pumps the blood to all the other boroughs and arteries.
No, I think involvement and interaction is very important. And otherwise, I don't know why this just came to mind. I was watching the movie. You talked about chains. I was watching Demolition Man the other night on TV, and in the future, every restaurant becomes Taco Bell. We don't want that to happen.
Very scary.
And that could happen if you don't join the Chamber of Commerce, dear listeners.
And look, I love Dunkin' Donuts as much as the next guy, but it's nice to be able to find a new local entrepreneur who's opening a great espresso bar or something like that.
Speaking of espresso and restaurants, I have to mention that you're the vice president of the Russian Tea Room, one of my favorite restaurants of all time. And back in the olden days, around the time of stone knives and bearskin rugs, I worked there in college as a bartender.
Amazing.
And I have dined there recently and had a drink before going to Carnegie Hall. There's an excellent selection of vodkas. Can you, offhand, how many vodkas do you sell there?
We have over 40 different kinds of ice-cold vodka at your ready. So if you're even just passing by and, you probably have the same conversations I do when you bring up the restaurant, everyone knows it. Everyone has a story about it. They've been there. They walk by it. So we just want to encourage people that, it's affordable, it's accessible. It's the kind of place where you can actually create memories and experiences. And it's through that experience of reopening and, rebranding and revitalizing the tea room that's really motivated me to focus personally on these kind of smaller business issues. Because as big and iconic as the tea room is, we go through the same challenges of dealing with, a city where it's generally pretty hostile to small businesses. I mean, unwarranted fines and violations and the bureaucracy and the red tape and all of these challenges, we can deal with it and we work hard, but there's a lot of small businesses that have a much harder time than we do dealing with it. And I think having that firsthand experience of having run our own business has really kind of helped me in this role at the Chamber.
Well, sitting down in one of the booths at the Russian Tea Room is a bucket list experience, but if you don't have time for that, then you can always just run in and get a couple of the delicious sliders. I think they come in threes at the bar. Or don't you have a flight of caviar? We could wrap it up talking about that.
Oh, you get a little vodka caviar tasting at the bar. It's a great way to do it. Again, you mentioned the sliders. Another fun and kind of disarming thing you could do is on the weekends, we do this wonderful afternoon tea. We also have a children's tea, so if you have a young child, it's a great way to kind of bring them in and give them that experience of the Russian Tea Room. And look, you look around Manhattan, a lot of these iconic places have closed down in recent years. So for us, it's very exciting to be able to have brought back an icon that people, never expected to have returned and really be able to provide those experiences to folks on a regular basis, from around the world and regular New Yorkers who come in all the time.
All right, folks. So when you go to the tea room, tell them that Rob Taub sent you, and I'm sure you'll be treated wonderfully. Ken, thanks so much for joining us. Everybody check out manhattancc.org. I know that I'm joining up as soon as we wrap up, Ken, I'll talk to you soon. Thanks for coming on the
Thank
phone
you.
with us
Appreciate
today.
it.
Bye.